our first guest. Should we go straight into it? Because we've been speaking to him behind the scenes, and it's been so exciting to know more about what he's been up to. Our first guest is Shahoor Malik, and he's a data engineer and founder of Quranhive, and he'll be taking us through the steps about his new app, inshallah.
Indeed, it's an app that is helping people to study Arabic and the Quran. It's so successful that the app has around 500,000 users each month.
Each month, I hear you say.
Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. And welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum salam. Alhamdulillah. I'm glad to be here.
We were just talking about what you do for a living and all this data and all the rest of it. So it'd been quite a natural fit with what you do for a living and your background to look at developing an app.
Yes, I mean, it has. I've gained the inspiration from my professional background, and I mean, it came to the stage where I was almost feeling guilty. I needed to feel that sense of, satisfaction that I'm using my skill sets, my professional skills at least, to service at least the wider aims of Quran learning and, the Ummah at large. Mm-hmm. So, alhamdulillah, I'm glad to be working on this project, and, I'm looking forward to working on it going forward as well.
And when did it all start? Or what was look, you could have done anything. Anything for the community, but why the Quran might be an obvious answer. And where was that, moment of the light bulb moment?
That's the one. Where was that? How did that inspiration come to you, my brother?
Okay, so maybe about 3.5 years ago, it was more of a flickering light bulb that was kind of on and off, given the circumstances at the time. But I've always been interested in studying the Quran and Arabic. So I've studied Arabic in university as a module. I've studied it outside uni. So I've always been infatuated with learning the Quran and Arabic. But in that process, I found that there's always been hurdles and obstacles in learning and a few pain points, especially using the technological means that are available to us now. So I've always found myself having 10 tabs open on Chrome and trying to juggle between resources, but also always wishing that there was a tool for this, or only if there was a tool for that. So it was just this frustration that was building inside of me that slowly started to turn into fuel for ideas that I can possibly implement myself. And I was at work one day, in fact, and I walked past a brother, and some might describe this as a moment of serendipity, as they say, but it's qadarullah that I happened to walk past him, and I saw on his screen that he was using a technology stack that I was interested in aspiring to learning at the time. So him being a brother, and I've been seeing him around the prayer room, I just stopped and I felt like I could approach him, and I said, brother, look, why don't you teach me that? And he turned around thinking, who's this stranger asking me for help? And he was very welcoming. And he was basically my safety net going forward, because he was encouraging me to build the ideas I was discussing with him, but he was also teaching me the technological skills. And me being in a data engineer background, I was now diving into other technical areas like web development and app development and 3-4 other technical areas that I needed to integrate into my skill set to then work on this.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So Shahoor, so essentially, you've got this expertise, you wanted to use it to benefit the Ummah, inshallah, and obviously it sounds like you wanted to feed your soul. There was a gap basically, there was something that you were yearning to do. And through your experience, obviously this kind of made sense. And meeting this brother was qadr Allah as well. Talk us through this next steps though, did you know about apps and app building and what you had to do there?
So, I knew about it because I experimented with developing Quran tools only for myself. So, in fact, I was the only user of Quranhive for a very long time, because there was only, to serve my own learning purposes. So I started to compile these different resources. I started to create algorithms to identify similar ayat, and then to identify resources that would help me learn those. So these were a bunch of automation tools. Consider it like a tool set that a builder would use, and there's these different tools that you can then use to make your learning a bit more efficient. So these were things that I was already working on. The question was now, how do I bring it all together in an intuitive interface and then allow other users to start benefiting from that, and then have that feedback loop as well. So in fact, with Quranhive, most of the brilliant ideas on there are from actual users. They contact me directly through the in-app feedback section, and they say, oh, what about this? And they identify a gap, or I'm working on this challenge. And teachers contact me directly, in fact.
That's a great idea, I think, personally. It helps you to kind of continually evolve the software that's, you've began building. Like the foundation was there, and now you can keep on building.
And how long did it take you to develop the app?
It took me about, probably, because I worked obsessively and I was very excited about the idea, it took me about 6 months.
I can hear it now.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm still obsessed by it. Alhamdulillah, it's something that's very exciting to work on, especially because I know I'm filling a real gap there for especially Quran learning. It took me about 6 months to a year to build the first value offering. So that was just compiling the main resources that people wanted to study. but also, giving an intuitive, interactive translation, stuff like, word by word selection and having, charts to explain to you grammatical rules, things that were just not available on the market anyway.
So is that what the gap is? I mean, is that what the USP is between yourself and any other app or website out there?
So there's a number of gaps, and really, as and when I was developing this, especially in the first 6 months, I was philosophizing really, really deeply about, what are the real gaps here? Especially because I came from a background of suffering those pain points myself. And one of those gaps, for example, having a platform that's cloud first, something that's very intuitive, that if you want to have a bookmark saved and have multiple categories or add your own content, you automatically have free access to our own service. So you don't need to back it up on Google Drive or Dropbox, it's just built in. But also stuff like compiling and curating, content curation, curating all of the main reputable resources like Ibn Kathir and Sayyid Qutb and Ma'arif al-Quran, all in one place, but also organizing that information. So not just overloading users as if the Quranhive application is a wiki, but more like organizing that information in a way that it makes sense, in a way that's intuitive for the user to interact with.
I've got a question, and I think I kind of know the answer, but what about the name Quranhive? Can you talk us about what your journey was to get to that name? And what it means?
It's got to
what
be
does it stand
something to do
for?
with bees.
I think so. It has to be. It has to be.
I mean, personally, I like bees. I'm again, something that if you was to tell me or ask me what animal or what species are you most excited by in terms of their behavior and their communal work and their kind of objectives as a single entity, I mean, you would have to say the bee. And obviously, they have a special mention in the Quran as well.
Of course.
But I feel like, we as an ummah can learn from the bee quite a lot. But when it comes to learning, the idea of a hive, bringing all of that kind of sweet nectar in one place, but also where everyone just comes back to get their, their satisfaction of learning, their means of achieving their learning of Quran. So it's just that one place, that hive. I feel like that metaphor fits very directly to what I'm trying to achieve with that platform.
Well, look, through technology, you've got a tablet, alhamdulillah, and we're actually going to see a demonstration tonight of Quranhive. So let's see if it connects. It was working earlier. There you go. It does. Fantastic. Right. So is this the app itself, or is this online right now?
So this is the app, and this is the Android app, and the iOS app, the iPhone app, basically looks the same. This is running on an Android, and there's also a website version. And so this is, just a note here. This is another thing that I found that was a pain point. You find great apps, but they don't exist as websites. But this is something that's truly cross-platform. Now, if I want to just demonstrate a few features here, obviously keep it as brief as I can. I'm not too boring. I don't want to make this a technical lesson. But let's just look at the phonetic search, which has actually gained a lot of traction among the users. And now, for example, let's just say a user wants to search the Quran in Arabic, but they don't know how to type Arabic. They don't know an Arabic keypad. Yeah. So they just know how to spell it in English phonetically. Wow. So they're going to guess. Yes, so let's just say they're looking for. Let's just keep it simple. Tabat yada. Now you can spell this in different ways. You can add an extra A, add an extra B, add an extra T. So there's multiple variations. But what this would do now, it would start statistically evaluating what are you actually most likely looking for. And then it would find it within the Quran for you and then present that for you. So that we can see here you've typed Tabat yada and it presents that for you.
SubhanAllah, that is amazing.
Now, one of the main things behind this is also that if you wanted to search all verses beginning with Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, you don't need to type in Arabic, nor do you need to do like an advanced wildcard
Are we just talking about English and Arabic? Are we talking about other languages here as well?
Just English for now, because obviously it requires its own massaging of the data behind the scenes. So, I mean, English being a universal language, and alhamdulillah, I've seen that traction in the subcontinent, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh as well, especially in Malaysia.
Right, take us through the other key USPs that we're looking at here.
Sure. So now if you go back to the surah page, you can see a lot of options here. So very directly you can tap on the I button and you can see how many ayat it has and also when it was revealed.
Very good.
Other information about, except verses X, Y, and Z that were revealed in Medina and so on and so forth.
Right, amazing. Mashallah.
Now if we go to, let's just go to Surah Fatiha. Now as I mentioned, we have Abdul Halim's translation in there, but it's a interactive translation, so you can actually tap on the words in the translation and you can see his notes embedded within the translation itself.
That is absolutely amazing, mashallah.
And you can also tap on the learn button, and this is one of the features that I'm most excited about, is you have English and Urdu available, and you have a wide array of resources available very directly and very intuitively. So, for example, if there's an Arabic student who wants to look at I'rab, he would have a slider on top, and these are all the words that the Arabic I'rab would be commenting on. You would also have word by word selection, so you can tap a word, you can look at more information based on the word, and you can look at other details based on the word usage. So there's tafsir. In short, there's tafsir, there's resources, there's word definitions and charts, there's bookmarks and content, there's a inbuilt publishing suite. It's too much to demonstrate right now, but I hope.
Is it just the Quran? Do you have books of hadith in there as well?
So
is that the next stage of the journey?
So that's the next step. I have a dedicated busy bee working for me right now.
MashaAllah, busy bee. There you go.
And he's doing an excellent job of summarizing some of the most reputable content out there. And so that's why I've introduced a feature. In fact, if you scroll down here, you would see more content and my content. So this is what I call dynamic content. And in that way, it takes all of the best resources available for that given ayah, and it will present it to you there in summary form.
So let me ask you the crucial question. How's it been funded, and what are people who want to use it?
How's it been funding? There's two answers to this. One, from my own pocket, because obviously it's part of my own excitement.
Brilliant.
But secondly, alhamdulillah, we do have a generous base of users who contribute willingly. I mean, it's a free app. Every part of it is free. Just the Ramadan that just went past, we made Quranhive Premium free for all users. And so we said to users, if you want to contribute, you can. If you don't want to, up to you. You don't get any less.
Okay, mashallah, that's fantastic.
And where do people get this?
So
is it the Apple Store and all the rest of it?
App Store, Play Store?
Yes, you can download it directly on the Apple Store and the Play Store. And also you can go to Quranhive.com and not miss out on anything on the website either.
Amazing,
so
amazing.
Going to the website, would that be the best?
You can go on the website and basically, if you want to interact with the web version, so let's just say you're on a laptop and you want to do some dedicated learning. So instead of using an app on your tablet, you're on your laptop and you're doing a bunch of other things, some research. So you can use the website instead.
So use all platforms and see whatever suits you.
And listen, very comprehensive, absolutely fantastic piece of work.
It is indeed.
May Allah bless, inshallah, reward you abundantly. I'm looking forward to the next version with the hadith, etc. as well. Brilliant. Jazakallah khair for being with us tonight. It's time for Maghrib.
It is indeed.
In London.
Jazakallah khair, Shahoor. Jazakallah to you and all your busy bees. Alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters.